everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Olivia. How are you all doing? In today's video, I would like to show you how to do this deer in a very easy way, and we will use Faber-Castell Polychromo, and the book I will use is Nightfall by Maria Troll. I done this page couple weeks ago with all the backgrounds and the flowers and stuff, and I just left the deer for my February, but things happen and the month is past, but it's okay. I will continue to do this first series, and I would like to show you different types of fur. So as I say, we're gonna use Faber-Castell Polychromo, and these are all the color that I'm gonna use. I wanna do like a golden brown deer. You can do like red colors, red deer color, or like a dull brown looking deer as well, but every time I do a little bit different. So as you can see here, I go in with the lightest color in the polychromo, which is the ivory, and I will use this color just to mark down the chest area of the deer. It's quite light on the screen, so it's a little bit harder to see because the chest is like a white color. So now I go in with the brown ochre, and I will use this color. You go in quite light pressure. I do not press the pencil because when I do with the polychromo, you have to layer them. You have to layer the pencil, and I usually just layer the pencil until I get to the opacity of the colors that I like. So I will use this brown ochre, and you can see I just quite light layer and just put down the first layer of the shadow. You will go from you leave the belly white, because usually the belly of the deer is white, I'm pretty sure. So I go from the neck of the deer, curves around, go to the legs, and as you can see, I just go very light handed with this color, because we're gonna add a lot more of other colors on as well. And I go down the front leg with a little bit of this brown ochre as well. We would do the body first, and we would do the head separate, and then I go on the other legs. It's pretty similar. This way of doing the deer, last time when I do the bear, I do kind of like a little bit on the realistic side. Now I go in with the dark Naples ochre, dark Naples yellow. I would leave the name in the screen for you, so don't worry. And I just use this dark, like the kind of gold yellow, and I just also again very light brushes just to blend it in with the brown ochre. And as you can see, it looks very light now, but the most important thing when you start is the arrange of where you put the color, instead of just going and burnishing it down quickly, and then like if you don't like, or you don't like this color here, then you can erase it. But if you burnish it down too much, then it's a little bit harder to erase it, I think. So I like to just very gently mark, just push down the color as a base color first, just to see if I like the arrangement of the colors that I use, and if I like, then I will go back and add more color. And now I go in with the Bistre. This one is a lot darker than the brown ochre, but it's still kind of like on a warm gray, warm brown color. So I just use this one to enhance a shadows of this deer, and I just use it to blend all the colors for the shadow, we're gonna add a few other darker brown as well, but this one is very good brown because it's helped to transitions from the gold yellow color to the brown arches, tied together with the dark brown later you're gonna use. So make sure if you use any other brand, you can find pretty similar color like the one I use now. You should able to, even with the chipset. All you need is a kind of like a brownish yellow color, a darker brown but still on the warm side like a brown arches, and then a few darkest brown that you have, like a middle brown and then the darkest brown, and then you are good to go. And there you can see I go in with the second layer because now I have sort of like the good idea that all these color I'm gonna use and where I'm gonna use them. So now I just gonna go back in with the second layer with the brown arches, and then I just I didn't brush them very hard, but I kind of go in with the medium brushes. As at the start I go with the light brushes, and then now I just go with the medium brushes, and I just blend all the color together. I try to blend the brown and the yellow together, like try to connect them so they have the smooth gradient from the light to the dark and doesn't look very harsh color. So this way of color you still have very good looking animal, even though it's not realistic. Of course when you're coloring you don't have to do realistic, but a lot of people, a lot of colorists ask me how do I do them look more on the realistic side. So I show the bear one. This deer is really easy. Even if you are a beginner, you still can achieve this effect quite easy. You don't need to do in too many layer fur, and it's also help you to practice your blending gradient skill as well. And then you go in with the burnt umber, which is like a really dark, it's kind of like a darker brown. The darker version of the Bistre is like a dark brown, but is still have a hint of like a warm brown in it. So it's go really well with these sort of combinations, and I just love like all these brown together is great. I like really warm colors, and it's make the deer stand out from the background because I have the background is a blue, which is like a cool tone, and I have the deer is like a warm tone, and so it stand out from like the flowers and the backgrounds. And I'm really happy with picking these colors, and it just sort of give you like a spring vibe more, and I really like how this page turn out. I'm pretty sure if you look on Pinterest or Google image, you can find all sort of images of deer. You can have like a baby deer, you can have a big deer, old deer, all sort of deer that you like. And now you go in with the walnut. So the walnut color is actually a little bit on the cool side. The undertone of the walnut is a cool tone. So that's why I say it's really important to you layer the color, and to help it the warm and the cool, the brown go together and blend them really nicely, instead of just straight from one warm brown and then you go straight from the cool brown. That is make them really obvious, like transition, and it doesn't look very nice. It doesn't look very pleasing to the eyes. And now all you have to do is you just go back and forth with all the brown that you have, and just blending a lot of layering. If you don't like to layering, you can use Prismacolor, and you can use absolutely the same way to do this deer. No worry, it's not gonna be like look bad, it's just the same. But yeah, if you're gonna use a polychroma, you have to blend quite a little bit more, because polychroma blend the best when you layering them. And the bear fur, I already used the Prismacolor, so I want to use this one, a polychroma. So the people have the polychroma can use the polychroma, but this brown you can find pretty easily in the Prismacolors as well, so no worry at all. And so you see, I just do a lot of blending. This style is sort of like a little bit like watercolor style. When I do watercolors, I sort of like make them transitions instead of do like realistic first. So I think I can do it the same way with the pencil and make it look quite effective, and it's not too hard for people that beginner, or people that doesn't like to color in animals, still can do it quite easily. And I'm so sorry that I didn't upload a lot this week. It's because I went back to school already, so it's gonna be a little bit harder for me to film now, but I still try to at least put out 1 or 2 videos a week, and I still gonna stream during Saturday. I stream on Saturday at 2 p.m. the GMT plus 9.5 hour, because I live in South Australia. So now I'm gonna go just go back in with the ivory, the lightest colors, and I will just blend all the colors out and make the belly white. And now I go in with the Bistre colors, and very lightly you're gonna go on the opposite side and just adding a little bit under the belly to make the impressions of the other side have the same fur texture, and just adding a little bit of shadows as well. So now you're gonna go in first with the dark Naples Ochre for the head, and I want to do the center of the deer is quite dark, and on the cheek, on the side of the deer will be kind of like the light colors. And so I just gonna add this color just like the triangle, mark out the area that I want to do the colors, and it's easier to blend from the light area with the dark yellow ochre than with the brown color. So now I go in with the Bistre color. Let's do the ear for the deer first. For the ear is kind of folding, and it shows a little bit of the inside of the deer. So as you can see, I go in a little bit too much, so I just erase it. That's a really effective way when you do light color. You don't like it or you do something wrong, you can erase it quite easily. With the Prismacolor, it's a little bit harder to erase, I think, because it's kind of I don't know, it's stuck on the paper a little bit too well. And then I just go in with a darker brown and I just darken up the area a little bit, and then I go in with Bistre colors and start to do from the the outside of the ears. So now you can see I do like you know how I do the leaves, the shiny leaves, so you do the similar effect. So I do the top and the bottom of the ear, and then I go in with the burnt umber using the flick motions, and I go with a light pressure first, and just slowly adding more dark colors, and just to bring the dark color by adding more dark colors and not actually like pressing the colors too much. And as you can see, I just flick the colors, and I go in with the walnut brown, and I just gonna flick these colors out. Don't do too much, don't flick out too much, just make sure you leave the area in the middle is quite a light color, so it look like the sun shining on it. You don't have to do if you don't want to, but I think this way it look more like nicer. And I go back in with the brown ochre because I want a little bit of that kind of yellow brownish look a little bit more. As you can see, I go quite light and I just darken it up a little bit more. You don't have to press your pencil very hard to do the. And now you're gonna use the same brown ochres, and I just gonna mark out, start to darken up the face of the deer. As you can see, I do the middle of the deer face is gonna be like a dark colors, and we're gonna eventually blend out on the cheek to make the cheek a little bit white. So I'm gonna go in with burnt umber, not the burnt umber, the brown ochres now. And now I just go in with the yellow, the dark yellow ochre, and I just gonna block colors it. I don't do them very dark, but I just block color the colors, and then I go in with the brown ochres again, and I just go with this brown ochre. I just go over the dark yellow ochre earlier. I just add now, and it create a really nice kind of golden brown fuzz, and I just love this color so much. And now I go in with the burnt umber, and I just gonna add in a lot, quite down like near the little nose of the deer, and make it quite dark and fade it out at the top, just like on the edge of the shape that you draw, and not actually like go in too much. I just darken the shape a little bit, so it just bring out the gold a little bit more because you add in the shadow. And now with the Bistre, you just kind of lightly blend out the gap where you left the area white, and then you go in with the ivory, and you just blend out that area. As you can see now, you have more the shape now, and then you can go back in with the pencil and just enhance if you want to add more or not. And with the Bistre again, I just go really light. As you can see, I try to make it very natural so you just don't see like it cuts straight right to the white area, but it's kind of like slowly fading to it. And we're gonna do the other ears just exactly the same way, with a flick motions, top and bottom, and leave the area in the middle white, and then with the Bistre color first, and then I go in with the Walnut Brown, I'm pretty sure Walnut Brown, and you just adding that color, just flicking that colors out. I think if you don't have the Walnut Brown, you can pretty sure you can use any other dark brown that you have. And then I go in with the brown ochre again, and I just flick out more and just blend out the colors a little bit more. Just make sure it have a little bit of gold in there, like a yellow in there. And yeah, make sure you add the top and the bottom quite dark, so it just bring out the colors more, and it just make the ear like really shiny, and it's gonna be look really beautiful when you are done. You are nearly done. It's actually really easy to do. As you can see, it's nothing hard. All you need to do is you need to know where the color gonna be, and just make sure the arrangement of the colors is nice. Make sure you know what color you're gonna pick for the deer, so make sure you just look up the real picture, the real reference. I think a lot of people had a hard time to do animal coloring animal, because when you look at an animal, is you can say like, oh, I want a white bunny, but you wouldn't really sure like how to do the colors, because you don't know the arrangement of the colors. But if you look up online and you have so many picture of the colors of the animals that you want to colors in, you can pick pictures, and it's gonna be a lot easier for you. And now I go in with the medium flash, and I just add in a hint of pink on the cheek and inside the ears of this deer. Just quite light layer. I'm not gonna do them very dark because I just don't want to have like a blob of pink there. I just want to have like a little bit of pink there, just because I think it's cute, and we're not really going for realistic, so why not? And I just gonna darken the mouth of the deer a little bit, because I think it's look quite fade colors, and I just blend out all the colors on the body a little bit more. Just make sure it's look blendy and doesn't look very harsh edges. I just want like a smooth gradient blend. I really love blending pencils, and I have a lot of requests to do polychromo colors along again, because I think a lot of people enjoy my colors along on my tutorial with the polychromo. I think there is not so many color tuber on YouTube that do that color with polychromo, so I'm really happy to do more for you, because polychromo is my favorite colors as well. And yeah, I just darken up the under the neck a little bit more. Make sure you have to like think of where you darken the area, because when you do that, it's bring out your picture so much. It doesn't make your coloring look flat, because you have clear shadow and clear highlight. So just make sure you add in the shadow anywhere that you need it. And now I go with the Walnut Brown. Make sure your pencil is quite sharp, and as you can see, I kind of flick, do like a short flick motion anywhere that between the dark area to the light area. So for example, I'm doing here is I do a few first stroke along the body, and along the um, transition edge, like where from the light yellow to the ivory colors. And I just do like a very short stroke, because remember the deer fur is short fur, they don't have long fur. So just make sure you add in a little bit, and even on the chest area where it's white, you still can add a little bit of stroke. And just don't make it overboard, but just a little bit like that. Just is called you adding texture to your picture. And even though we are not going for realistic looking, but when you're adding like this, is more dimensions and it look much more interesting way. And you don't have to do like realistic furs anything, you just adding a little stroke, like first stroke, and it's really easy. So don't worry, but if you don't want to, it's fine, because I think even like this is already look quite good, quite eyes catching, and you can do it just like that. And as you can see, I just redo the eyes a little bit, because I think the color got over it, and it make the black lines a little bit fade. And I going with the white pen. I always use Unibroad Signal gel pen, because they are my favorite. But you can use any other white gel pen that you have. You can even use acrylic as well. But I think white gel pen is pretty good for me. So now I'm gonna use this gel pen to just add in the little white dot. Sometimes you see like a little white dot on the deer body, and I just use this to add in. It's a little bit quicker than just use just leave the little white spot itself. And as you can see, I use a walnut brown color, and I add in just one side of the white dot, and just make it look like a shadow, and so it doesn't look like it's just a drop of colors on it, and actually like look like a spot on the deer. And I don't do anything very fancy. You just add in a little bit of shadow around the white. Make sure you go in quite, be careful, or you're gonna scratch off the white. And now I'm gonna use this pen. I'm just gonna add in like a few fur stroke along, because sometimes like when you do animal fur, you're gonna see like a little white fur. It's not white, but it is the sun reflect on the furs, and then it just make it look quite like a shiny white. And I think I like to add in like just a little bit like that, just along the edge of the deer, so it's look really nice, and just a pop of sun. And if you don't like, you can fix it with your pencil. You can scratch it up and just redo it. So it's really easy this way. As you can see, I just go along, and it's kind of like cover up the black lines a little bit, and it just make the deer look like more fluffy fluffy not fluffy, what as you can see here, I don't really like it around the face, so I just kind of fixing it a little bit with the walnut brown. And you make it look, you can use a pencil to make the white stroke that you just do with the white gel pen, make it look quite thin. And it's not, because sometimes the white gel pen can be like really thick uh, line, and you can use it to make it, to scratch it up and make it look a little thinner. And now we are done, and this is how the picture turns out. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial with me. I hope you learned something new, and if you like my video, please subscribe, comment, and share with your friend. And I will see you in the next video. By the meantime, take care and happy coloring. Bye.